With a turkey
Please,
costume.
GFN with turkey costume.
Look, that turkey costume, I did it at my job, so I thought to myself, it's a fun idea to bring it here.
Yeah, it was good. You should wear it every day.
No, it's really hot in there, you know, it's
So,
onesie.
ready.
what are we
Yeah,
going to
ready.
talk about for the second half?
Yeah.
We're going to bring GFN into it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You have to mention GFN rights.
I mean, I was already talking about that idea.
We're
so-
letting
Well, we've just got 10 minutes to fill, so
10
we'll
minutes?
talk about something.
Podcast?
Will GFN's rate increase?
Oh no, that's
Because of
for a
new
different
normal?
topic.
that's different topic. Or that's different.
That's part of it.
That's part of it.
I mean,
We are talking
We
about
can
new
start
normal,
talking
right?
about that.
Yeah, because of new normal.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Yeah, sure.
Or did it decrease?
I got it. All right. Okay, you open the gate first. Okay. We
Open
follow.
the gate.
No.
Well,
Can you-
I have to open the gate.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's
man,
my
don't take the job away from James.
After
Okay,
James.
is everybody ready now?
Yeah, we are ready always.
Okay, so let's keep talking about today's topic. So, with the new normal,
Mhm.
GFN,
Mhm.
I know personally, you know, as a professor, and I've started to do all my lectures online.
Mhm.
So I have to make videos, and I do that at home. And when I'm working at home, I now either listen to the radio
Mhm.
or watch YouTube.
Ah.
Right? So,
Students know that.
well, it's not not when I'm making the video,
Mm.
but when I'm, you know, when I'm
Yeah, that's what he
preparing.
said.
Ah, got it.
Preparing.
That's what he said.
So I'm not doing it while
In a
I'm
more
actually
free mood.
making the video, but you know,
Uh-huh.
before that, when I'm getting ready for the video.
Mhm.
Right? So with that, when I'm listening to the radio, I'm listening to GFN. So do you think GFN numbers have gone up with the new norm?
What do you think of JS?
She has a name.
I'm kind of. I think there's two sides because people stay at home more,
Mhm.
so they could listen to it. But at the same time, many people around me listen to radio only when they're driving, so
You're correct. Yeah.
could
correct.
decrease.
I must before that would be the only time I listen to the radio is in the car. But now I do listen to it on the
While working or preparing.
while working on,
yeah,
the,
okay.
on the computer. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sometimes I start just tuning in to GFN. I just while just working, just listening to the radio because radio's kind of song is a little it goes randomly, right? Some unpredictable kind of song. So I really like that kind of mood, right? Okay. Then how about you, team?
Sorry.
Don't laugh at me. All right.
Yeah, why not say, I listen to them every single day when I'm cooking, when I'm eating my breakfast, when I'm eating my lunch. Well, I do listen to them usually when I'm trying to find information, you know, about the political stuff or other like emergency stuff like COVID-19 spread. I also like to compare them to the Korean news, seeing how the translator is actually doing the job as well.
Mhm.
It interests me because my major back in university was English translation, and I'm totally not lying.
No, we believe you.
Okay. All right.
Just to make sure, just to make sure. Sometimes people just think, TV's saying a bunch of stuff, he doesn't really mean it. Is it because of my face?
Of course. Of course.
Okay. So, in my opinion, actually the amount of people listening to the radio has been increased ever since the COVID-19 because, like I say, any kind of social media that are actually, related to listening or watching inside or indoor has been increased over the past few months. But thing is, we also do have a question. How can we improve our situation? How can we improve our show to benefit every listeners that are, listening, which is, more foreigners listen to this show, obviously, because this is English radio show after all. And my idea still stand. Podcast. With a bunch of, how should I say? We can actually try to do this practically by letting people, the listeners of the GFN, who are actually willing to vote on the website, to vote for their favorite host, including James' name on it, and see who they actually pick, and pick up those, favorite guest or host that they actually chose on this voting system, and trying to put them together and give them the weirdest topic ever.
Right. So
You
that
know.
would be on the radio.
On the radio, podcast can happen on the radio, or maybe on the YouTube with some nice picture of some of those hosts smiling awkwardly, each other, and together just bear hugging, forcing each other in the picture to be look
I like
friendly,
it.
even though while they really hate each other. Who knows? See, sounds like a brilliant idea, no?
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, then it's you don't think this is a great idea, do you think?
How did you know that? No,
Your
just I
face.
totally agree on that. Totally agree on that. But
Uh-huh.
just I'm just curious. Just from we have to check the kind of the how kind of ratio to the media listenerships, right? Like a statistics, right? So radio listeners goes down or it goes up. I need kind of the accurate the information or things with the statistics, right? And then we can start. Okay, how many percentage we are behind from the video or the media? Okay, we can follow up. This year, 5% catch and the 10% catch. Yeah, step by step. But just abstractly, just think about and talking about the media trend or just the new normal, just in the abstract side. Okay, it couldn't be a solution anymore because we need more concrete solution, right? Just about the new normal was too heavy.
Well, I mean, eventually the situation will go away. And so radio's issue is making sure that the people stay. So even though when everyone's had to go back to work, we've got to still keep the people interested in listening to the radio. That's radio's issue. That's what we've got to do.
Okay, so with new normal kind of concepts, is maybe for example, while driving, that they're listening, right? And then we have to, you have to keep the listeners to the office and the chair and their station, right? So we have to find that kind of new normal, kind of a little unique thing, right?
Yeah, which will be difficult because
course.
when you're working, I don't know, in the UK, most jobs would probably be okay if you listen to the radio. Obviously, there's sometimes you can't because you've got to interact with customers and you can't then listen to
Radio,
radio. Most jobs would be, but in Korea, I get it. I feel it's a
yeah.
little bit more strict.
conservative,
Yeah, and
Okay.
if I was working in an office in Korea and I turn on the radio,
I like
maybe
it.
I get the impression that the boss would be angry.
I don't know why, because their generation of radio, right? I don't understand. I think they think that they separate the working place and kind of the place where they can listen to the radio, right?
I mean, you can always listen to it without making it public,
But then you've got earphones in, right?
Yeah, that's the problem as well. Usually we don't allow those kind of people in the office, and usually they get kicked out not really long after.
How about making a campaign as a kind of new normal format? Okay, just people just grabbing the coffee and just working and right, and just like radio show as coffee or like a habit or that campaign GFN can make. Okay.
Well, that's one of the things in Western countries is a lot of people who are having to work from home now. They're saying to their works like, why do I have to come back?
That's right. That's a good point.
So before this, we were always told like, no, you have to come into the office because we have to, we have to check what's going on and everything. They gave lots of excuses, but now people had to work from home, and all of a sudden, probably everybody still did their job.
Of course, online base.
Yeah, so now a lot of people are arguing like, so just let me continue working from home forever.
I think that's the kind of new future, circumstance,
That could
right?
be the new normal, working
Yeah.
at home.
An online class will be more popular too from the COVID-19, right?
Yeah.
And maybe radio show too.
I don't know about that.
Who knows?
I mean, as a productive wise,
Yeah.
productivity wise, maybe that is still viable option for people to work at a house. But you do know that when you were in school, you were told by a teacher the purpose of going to school is not only to learn, It is more like learning about society from the young age and trying to create those kind of social structure in the name they call school. And that's how people start interacting. Like, imagine you're only grown inside of your house, taught by your parents. And I'm not saying, taught by parents is a bad thing necessarily, but they generally have a lack of understanding of the human interactions and the student who actually went to school for years because, their interaction was limited. Same with the, companies and social workers. I mean, sure, you can get your work done in your house if you're just office working and too as well, but you're not going to have a lot of interaction with your coworkers, and the unity and the bonds that bound a company with the employees or your coworkers might also lessen by it too. It's quite important. Like, you don't see your boss that often and you're like, who was my manager again? That could happen. You never know.
But they could interact with like FaceTime, and they're still doing the meeting at their home with Zoom.
Sometimes they're out of the office, they can see, right?
Yeah.
And have coffee or just meal, right?
Human interaction is possible at
Okay.
home.
And I don't know really about the school, the students, they can they learn about kind of the social work through friendship. Not a teacher learning, not anymore, I think, right?
Hey, do you know how many students back in my Hagwon complain about, not being able to go to school? And they were saying, oh, we're so bored, we just want to go to school. Staying at home, playing with my friends is kind of boring. I want to see my friends again. Because some of them live for each other. And the only time they had, contact with was when they're, together. And these are little kids we're talking about. Obviously, they're not going to be satisfied with talking to their friends on the phone, saying, hey, how you doing? This program is really working well.
I think
Obviously not.
they still don't know how to play with their friends.
Okay, so unfortunately we've run out of time.
Oh, really? It was so interesting talking.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you.
Always, thank you so much.
It's okay. I'm the only voice of reason here, so you're welcome. Yeah.
Okay, so that was all for our Talk and Talk segment with Tim and Dennis, and our special guest for today, Jisoo. So thanks for coming in, and we'll see you again next week.
See you again next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Happy
Bye.
Sunday. I'm so happy to talk to you. What do you think? I'm so happy.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Talking
you.
with you. All right. Especially
Right,
not
so that's part
mentioning
one
about
done.
Turkey.
And now for another week.
for another week.
Yeah, we're doing a